Chapter 15 is another one of our media literacy chapters, and it's all about gathering and sharing digital information. And so this chapter especially looks at things like blogs and some social media, curation, and aggregated news feeds. This chapter features another Q&A with a blogger and journalist. Her name is Amy Buchatz, and she's an editor for the website military.com, so that's definitely something to check out. But what I really like about this chapter is that it gets into the nitty-gritty details about sponsored content, paid for content, advertising that really is somebody else's money-making scheme that is then presented through a medium that journalism is also presented through, so like a blog. Blogs are everywhere, and it's important for students to realize that not all content is created equal. And so, for instance, your students might not realize that one of their favorite sports blogs, a blogger who's writing about Under Armour might actually be paid to write about Under Armour, and they don't disclose that on their website. So the first thing this chapter does is it gives students the basics about what the FTC requires in terms of paid sponsorship disclosure and affiliation. So they can read and they can sort of understand what the rules are, what does a blogger have to do, not have to do, and how does that work. And then there's a great exercise towards the back of the chapter that asks students to do a little sleuthing. So they go online and they try and find a social media marketing campaign, so something on a blog, on Facebook, on Twitter, that is a form of social media marketing or an advertisement in which the person who's writing should have disclosed that they're getting paid to advertise. And there's a great example in the textbook about Ford Motors, and they can use that as a guide. And so students do some sleuthing and find out if this campaign actually followed the disclosure guidelines of the FTC. And then finally, because media literacy really is about empowering students to become part of the media solution, it asks students to write to that campaign manager, to write to the blogger or the website, and find out more about their disclosure, maybe their lack thereof, and suggest some changes, demand something better. And so that's one of the great things about all of the media literacy chapters is they're not only asking students to produce content, but also to engage with the content that's out there. And you'll find all of that and more in Chapter 15, Gathering and Sharing Digital Information.